Sproggie has a range of products, of which the first product is very simply a clip-on spoon for pouch baby food, allowing mums to single-handedly feed their babies when they're out and about or at home. It's all come about from an idea which I had about 10 years ago when I saw a mum struggling on a flight trying to feed her baby. And as a product designer, I saw this as an opportunity, like a gap in the market, which I thought, let's have a look at this and see how far it goes. The pouch, just snaps in, and then it's a case of then just squeezing gently. Because my background is a product designer, I think part of me has always wished that, could I have my own range of products? It's all well and good adding value to other people, whether they're international clients, which some of mine are. I've always fancied having my own product and using my own ability to drive something forward. So from the idea of Sproggie, it was a real opportunity to actually take that forward. But the one thing you've got to remember is that at every stage of the process, when you have an idea, you've got to add value. And the value either comes in from the marketplace, from friends, from family or whatever. And I think it's that element which actually drives you forward to get you to the end game, which is actually either raising money or putting the product into the marketplace. The amount of work that was done behind the scenes in terms of actually justifying the product is huge. Not only from the design point of view in terms of having the idea and protecting it, whether that's design registration or a patent like we've got it at the moment, but you really have to justify where the need is. You have to look at the stats in terms of how big the market is, where the market's shifting, look at the futuristic, sort of more visionary reports in terms of where it's heading, and especially for something like the clip-on spoon for baby food, and we were looking at a sector which hadn't even appeared yet. It was only that sort of vision that I had that was basically, they say eureka, but it's just basically why not do this? Question everything. That was the opportunity. And then you have to justify it. So a lot of time was spent in the British Library just going through Mintel reports, Euromonitor reports, to basically almost answer your own questions. Can we do this? And the patent process is vital when you're creating something which is so new and which doesn't exist. It also is a major asset for any company going forward, because that's the asset which you're going to trade with, and that's the value in the company. It's such a pity that I didn't have more money 10 years ago, because I would have gone worldwide. Unfortunately, it's only UK based. But we've got other products which we can protect. The whole process is really just getting your ideas down and then a lot of writing in terms of the claims. And my approach has always been put as many ideas in the patent as possible and let the examiner at the other end dictate basically what is achievable, what's applicable and what is not. And luckily for us, a lot of the ideas that I put in to begin with were actually fairly coherent and were a sort of a family of ideas, and hence that's why the clip-on spoon for the pouches went through with no sort of infringement whatsoever. The process is a lengthy one. From the application that went in at 2001, you're looking at about a year's work to lead up to that point, and that's the preliminary part of it. After that year, you then got to spend some serious money, sort of £10,000 onwards, to then actually get the whole thing through, because it obviously goes through a set of examination routes before it's then granted 5 years later. It's an endless game, and to be honest, you'll want to think very, very carefully about it, because at the end of the day, a patent is only so good as how much money you've got to protect it. The difference at the end of the day is you've really got to justify whether you can do it on the back of a brand alone and get the inertia of the brand to go forward, i.e. the volume of the products in the marketplace, and become a benchmark, or rely upon IP to protect your backside. And you can only protect your backside if you've got money in the bank to protect the actual patent, because any counterclaims or any copying or Me Too's out there in the marketplace, it's not you that's going to win, it's going to be the lawyers. I've always wanted to run a business in Cornwall. I love the place to bits, and I think it's great as a sort of, from a creative point of view, to have this sort of locality on your doorstep, i.e. when the ideas aren't flowing, you can go to the beach, you can play golf overlooking the beach. The quality of life down here is absolutely fantastic. But at the same time, I think it comes down to, one, your product portfolio, and more importantly, you as an individual. I think business is all to do about personalities. So it doesn't really make any difference anymore where you are. I think a long time ago, I was commuting to Germany on a regular basis, but now you don't need to do it because obviously, the internet, the broadband connection that we have down here in the West Country is absolutely superb, and so there isn't that expectancy to be in London every day. I don't really think we have a problem about recruiting staff at Sproggie. Sproggie is all about fun and personality, almost like mavericks down here. So I think if people believe in the brand, and I think if we can, very similar to like what Innocent has done with drinks, buy into that culture, and I truly believe that we can get the right people. In fact, to begin with, what we're going to do is actually retain specialist people to begin with, because that's the only way we can do the financial model. But long term, I personally want to bring in more of that knowledge base inside, because obviously that is the true value of any company. And also do the manufacturing down here as well. It's important for me to actually put something back to create jobs and create worth. I want to do the manufacturing and fulfillment in Cornwall because at the end of the day, for any new company starting up, you need the flexibility to move forward quickly. I think if the production was over in China, it would just be an absolute nightmare. And I believe from stories that I've heard that also having a major asset like your tooling over in the Far East, it doesn't give you the structure or the flexibility to react to the marketplace. And I think this is the advantage with any small business, is the reaction time to look at new opportunities, because compared to a global giant, they move very slowly. Small brands like ourselves can look at new opportunities and say, yes, let's do it. So I know how products actually go from a concept right through to manufacture. I'm aware of the sort of financial structure in terms of the infrastructure which builds a company from that point of view. So I've had that sort of knowledge base there anyway. What has been so key is actually having somebody at the end of the phone and having a team which is available to you, like the financial side and also the legal side. So if there is a problem or there's something which we need to look at in the future, we have that accessibility. So you're not just Michael sitting here beside a computer screen working alone. There is a lot of people out there who support you, who've also bought into the idea, see the vision, and able to actually support you on that journey. And I think this is the one thing about Sproggie, is that everybody's going to take a cut, everybody's going to take a dilution, and I think at the end of the day you want to have a success, and so your expectancy is that there will be dilution. So get used to it. What's the point of holding on to everything if it's not going to be there? Yes. So from where we sit, it's just now using the brand, using the players that we've got to then access the right routes to finance. There are some wealthy individuals down here which we can tap into straight away, and there are some wealthy people elsewhere that we can tap into. But it's just getting that matrix right. In terms of raising finance for the company, we've only just started, because it's taken a long while to get the sort of finances in terms of what we're after in place, the business plan, the synopsis, which is basically the runner, which is going to highlight the company to either VCs or wealthy individuals. But first what I did is tap into the local environment first in terms of what support we can get locally in terms of grants and loans. The reaction has been fantastic. Again, on the back of Ignite, people know about Sproggie down here, so if I can cut a deal locally, it's going to be far easier for us to do than, say, go to the southeast, where again I've had support from a venture capitalist network, and they've said, Michael, you won't have a problem to raise the money. It's just a case of whether they're going to invest in companies in Cornwall. I think the love and the passion which you initially have just goes out the door, or it just dwindles, and it's then determination and then another energy which then takes over. I read in a book once, and it was exactly that. And I think you just got to believe, you just got to fight it, because along the way it's a lonely, hard path. And I think if you can hold on to that vision and believe in what you're doing and just basically go for it, that's the most important part. Just don't give up. And I think to date, nobody has come to me and said, Mike, that's a dreadful idea. And I think if they did, then I would have stopped ages ago.